Okay, welcome back to the third episode of Drop It Like It's Scott, your questions answered. So, if this is your first time coming to this podcast, this is just questions that we receive from members within our community, and I answer those questions in this podcast style format. So, let's jump into it. Today, we're going to be talking about all things community. So the first question is, why did you choose school over other platforms like Circle for your community? And if I'm being really honest with you guys, the reason I chose school was because it was the first one that was recommended to me. I didn't overcomplicate this process. I had a mentor who was building out his community on school. He recommended I check out school. I checked out school. I signed up. I started building my community. So it really is that simple. I had seen Circle. Of course, I was familiar with Facebook groups, but my sister that I've talked about in the community a few times, she's built out a really successful community group on Facebook and had kind of mentioned that she was struggling with reach over the last 6 months. So I knew I didn't want to deal with that. I knew I didn't want to deal with different or changes to the algorithm that could affect how my community was growing down the road. So I decided to pay for a platform and I chose school. And so far, I've loved it. I really enjoy the platform and the functionality. I have not built a community on Circle or Mighty Networks or anything else that's in the marketplace. So I can't really speak to that too much, but that is why I chose school. So that's the answer to question number one. Question number two, if you are starting your community over today, what would you make sure to do this time around? And this is very clear to me. There's lots of different things I could recommend here, but the first thing I would recommend is take your time. Don't chase after numbers. Don't brag about how quickly you got to 100, 200, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 community members. Take your time and really that first 25, 50, 75, 100 people that join your community, take the time to get to know them and give them the value that they're looking for. Get the engagement level high. Even if you only have 20 people in a community, if everyone's engaged, it's much better than having 200, but there's only 10 people engaged. Okay? So take your time with your new community members, get to know them. I was guilty of doing this at the beginning. I went on TikTok live and just started connecting with people and inviting them back to my free community. And I didn't spend enough time really fostering those early moments within that relationship of a new community member joining your community. Okay. So take your time. Don't grow too fast. Then the next most important thing at least where I'm at today, is really think through the first steps that a new community member are going to take with you. So what does that feel like when they sign up? What is the orientation process that you walk them through? Do you have a video? Do you have steps that take them through that are very clear? Or is it confusing? Do you kind of get lost? Do you sort of get a little bit lost in the community and not sure where to turn for the information you're looking for? Okay. Is the community engaging with new community members? If I was starting over right now, I'll tell you what, I would grow slow, not adding more than a handful of new community members a day at the absolute most. And then I would have my new community member, call it a funnel, orientation funnel, set up so that it's very clear what step you want them to take first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So they understood all the benefits of your community. And then I would send them a Zoom video, making it very personal, saying, hey, welcome to the community. I'm glad you're here. Hey, go do X, Y, and Z to get the most out of your first 48 hours here in the community. And then I'll check in with you then. And then 2 days later, I would send them another Zoom video. What questions do you have? This is going to do a number of different things. It's going to make them feel wanted and valued and connected to you, but it's also going to give you some valuable information on what new community members are thinking with your new community member process so you can improve it. Okay? So that's what I would do differently if I was restarting my community today. Now, the third question I think is really interesting, and that is, where do you see your community in 1 year? I see the Monetized Life community being a special place for new entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, people that are trying to start a side hustle, a really safe place for them to go to learn, but to also support each other through that process. I see the community growing. I hate to put numbers on it, but let's just do it, because if we come back in a year's time and listen to this episode, it'll be interesting. So let's say the community is 1,000 people strong with an engagement rate somewhere between 40 to 50% of people that are engaging weekly. I see the community having multiple classrooms, I like the challenge idea. Right now, we just finished up the first round of the 5-day Monetized Life Challenge, which has been designed to very quickly set up your systems and the structure so that you are in a position to monetize a community. I see having continuing with the 5-day Monetized Life Challenge through the next year, because I just think it's such a quick, easy, simple way for people to start something that they can monetize. Yeah, there's still steps to take. Yeah, there's still things that you're going to need to learn, but the systems will be in place for you to be able to monetize. So the challenge will continue. It'll still be going on this time next year. What's today? April 6th. So April 6th, 2025, the 5-day Monetized Life Challenge will still be continuing on, and it will be so slick at that point, because I will have collected so much feedback from people going through that challenge that it will be refined, and it will be smooth, and it will be what you need, not necessarily everything that you want, but everything you need to set up that system to monetize your life. I'm going to have multiple other programs in the community that will act as what I like to call bolt-ons to the 5-day challenge or other programs to just get that much more out of it. So that's what I mean by the 5-day challenge will be just what you need, and then anything over and above that will have a bolt-on package. So if you want to know a little bit more about growing an audience on TikTok using TikTok Live, that will be a bolt-on offering that you can go to a classroom, and it'll have a whole bunch of lessons on how to get the most out of TikTok, for example. Okay. I would see this time next year, April 6th, 2025, the community will have community members who are also delivering content, whether it be workshops or courses, full-on courses, or where I want to see it get to, which is kind of my plan, is having like an inner circle type of thing where the people that have gotten through the 5-day challenge, who are a little bit further on in their journey, we meet once a month, and I bring in subject matter experts that go deeper into certain subjects. Maybe it's, getting into paid advertising, paid ads. Going to bring in an expert who does this day in, day out, who is very successful at doing paid ads, and they're going to teach you how to do it. Kind of a 90-minute, maybe a 2-hour session that just goes really deep. So you walk out of there and you can actually take action, and it will help you monetize your life or further monetize your life. So Inner Circle will be running this time next year. And I think lastly, the last point I would make about where I would see the community this time next year is I'm going to be just as excited about it. I'm going to be just as energetic about it. I'm going to be just as pumped to show up every day to deliver to my audience what they're looking for. All right. So that's the end of episode 3, all about community. If you have a question that you would like me to answer here on Drop It Like It's Scott, submit your questions over at the community. Go to school.com/monetized life. Join us over there. Submit your question and let's have some fun. We'll see you guys in the next episode.